Visualize this situation. You've been putting consistent effort into a fresh venture, perhaps a commercial plan, a creative endeavor, or a fitness objective, and all at once, you encounter a significant obstacle. Sales plateau, inventive inspiration fades, or you suffer a minor setback in health. In these instances, discouragement can arise swiftly. You might hear a quiet internal voice suggesting, "Maybe I'm just not meant for this," or "I should simply quit." However, here's another viewpoint. Barriers aren't so much hindrances to success as they are launching pads for adjustment and invention. By choosing to reinterpret difficulties, you turn adversity into strength and become receptive to unforeseen breakthroughs. The notion of converting setbacks into stepping stones lies at the core of resilience and self-development. It's not about ignoring hardship or dismay. Rather, it involves adjusting your outlook, uncovering overlooked teachings, and using them to advance. Below, you'll discover ideas and methods for how to welcome obstacles, turn them into catalysts, and eventually emerge as a stronger, more insightful version of yourself. The power of perspective. Obstacle versus opportunity. When you face a hurdle, your immediate response frequently dictates how circumstances evolve. If you define a challenge as the finale, you might close off mentally, denying yourself both a possible solution and an inventive workaround. But if you rename this same stumbling block as an occasion to learn or investigate new paths, you're likelier to persist. This small alteration in perspective can separate those who flourish under pressure from those who stay trapped. Mindset matters. If you're familiar with the idea of a growth mindset, you understand it emphasizes viewing capabilities and intelligence as flexible. With a fixed mindset, a difficulty might validate limiting notions. I'm simply not skilled enough. Under a growth mindset, every test is an opening to expand your abilities. I might not have this expertise yet, but I can develop it. Viewing barriers in this way nurtures self-assurance and ongoing progress. Embracing discomfort frequently, what we call struggle, is merely the unease of moving beyond familiar territory. Advancement nearly always involves entering the unknown, where errors are unavoidable. Accepting discomfort instead of shunning it lets us continue onward, even when the situation isn't perfect. Keep in mind that new summits are seldom reached by staying on well-trodden ground. Identifying the hidden value in setbacks, growth through trial. Regardless of how meticulously you plan, life inevitably offers surprises. Seemingly abrupt setbacks, a client's departure, malfunctioning equipment, or a public misstep can be painful. Yet these occurrences frequently deliver straightforward feedback on what could be enhanced or how upcoming efforts might be polished. They illuminate sectors where you might gain from fresh expertise, partnership, or adjustment. Strengthening resilience. Every time you manage a difficult situation, you build emotional and mental muscle. Hardships may sap your energy, but they also instill endurance, patience, and the capacity to act with care under pressure. Each hurdle surmounted adds to your reserves of resilience, which can support you through even greater trials in the future. Clarity and priorities. On occasion, a challenge compels you to reevaluate your priorities, sharpening your sense of what genuinely counts. A difficult creative impasse might prompt you to revisit the central theme of your venture, enhancing its sincerity. A monetary complication might drive you to reconsider expenses and concentrate on the most meaningful steps. In this manner, setbacks function as filters that strip away unneeded diversions, guiding you toward your real objectives. Practical strategies for reframing struggles. Ask the right questions. What am I learning? Whenever you encounter a setback, take a moment to question what teachings are surfacing. Do you see a shortfall in your abilities? A misunderstanding with a colleague? Pinpointing these lessons establishes a basis for advancement. How can I adapt? Rather than fixating on why something went wrong, focus on what might be altered the next time around. Barriers often underscore necessary adjustments in your tactics, preparation, or perspective. Shift your self-talk substitute. I can't handle this with, I'm discovering how to handle this. By framing difficulties as chances for developing abilities, you remind yourself that challenges are fleeting, not final. Trade. This is a dead end for, there could be a different route. This shift helps maintain an openness to new possibilities, sparking imagination instead of surrender. Break down the challenge. Massive issues might seem impossible until you segment them into more manageable parts. When you confront a substantial challenge, itemize its elements. Which portion can you address immediately? Which actions call for external assistance or extra tools? Steady progress builds momentum, transforming an apparently colossal barrier into a chain of achievable tasks. Brainstorm multiple solutions. If you feel confined by one tactic that's failing, make a point of generating alternative options, even if they appear unusual. Occasionally, the most effective answer arises from concepts that seem off the wall at first. Allow yourself to think freely, delving into imaginative territories you might normally overlook. Seek feedback and collaboration. People who have overcome similar hurdles can provide priceless viewpoints. Consulting mentors, colleagues, or virtual groups can bring new ideas, encouragement, and tactics you might not have thought of. It also affirms that you're not solitary in dealing with setbacks. Everyone faces them now and then. Record successes. Maintain a success journal, or record that tracks how you've converted prior obstacles into wins or lessons. Review these entries whenever fresh roadblocks surface. Looking back at earlier achievements can raise your confidence, confirming that you possess a history of molding struggles into assets. Overcoming emotional barriers. Acknowledge frustration. It's completely normal to feel down or irritated when a project fails to pan out. Rather than suppress these feelings, let yourself register them. If necessary, pause. Take a stroll, practice deep breathing, or express yourself in writing. Admitting these emotions can free up mental capacity for a more measured, solution-focused response. Practice self-compassion. Hardship can occasionally spark harsh self-reproach. Counter this by wondering, would I address a friend in the same manner? Extend the same kindness and forbearance to yourself that you'd show a loved one. Self-compassion doesn't sidestep responsibility. It merely supports a more helpful inner dialogue that encourages growth instead of self-judgment. Revisit your why. Recalling the fundamental motive driving your objective can re-energize you when you feel stagnant. Perhaps you want to improve your family's future, produce art that touches an audience, or push yourself past restricting assumptions. That guiding purpose can rekindle your enthusiasm, sustaining the determination required to move beyond obstacles. The transformation from struggle to strength, confidence through challenge. Every barrier you overcome builds another layer of self-belief. It's not about avoiding every difficulty. It's about demonstrating to yourself that you can address them as they appear. Gradually, knowing I've managed this once, I can manage it again, evolves into a powerful internal asset. Greater adaptability. Challenges frequently demand adjustment, urging you to venture into unknown realms, gain fresh competencies, or polish what you already possess. In a world that is constantly shifting, adaptability is key. By redefining obstacles, you stay nimble and prepared to pivot as conditions change. This versatility not only resolves present issues but can uncover hidden possibilities. Inspirational legacy. When you triumph over your own difficulties, you can encourage others dealing with similar trials. Revealing your experience, imperfections included, can allow someone else to recognize that stumbling blocks aren't everlasting endings. Your account of surmounting challenges might be the catalyst that sparks someone else's endurance. Ongoing growth and reflection. Regular check-ins. Even once a significant barrier has been addressed, continue examining your progress. Now and then, pose questions like, what am I discovering at this moment? Or, are there fresh obstacles I could handle differently? Persistent self-reflection averts stasis and preserves the drive for ongoing development. Savor small victories. In our haste to achieve grand objectives, tiny milestones are easily missed. Recognize every instance of progress, even if it's as slight as moving from despair to inquisitiveness. These minor triumphs add up, bolstering your self-assurance and supporting a growth-oriented mindset. Embrace change. Roadblocks appear in various shapes. Market fluctuations, unplanned personal hurdles, or just shifting life conditions. By recognizing change as a natural element of progress, you adapt more smoothly. Welcome the fluidity of forward movement, and stay receptive to modifying or even reshaping your aims as you discover more about yourself and your surroundings. Conclusion. Turning barriers into prospects isn't about donning rose-tinted lenses and pretending there's no hardship. Instead, it involves recognizing the reality of challenges, yet electing to view adversity as a stepping stone rather than an insurmountable wall. Altering your viewpoint grants you the inventive flexibility to adapt, learn, and ultimately come out tougher with every obstacle. Whether the struggle is connected to your career, personal life, or anything in between, keep in mind that obstacles can unlock hidden abilities, sharpen your objectives, and reinforce your resilience. By practicing the art of reframing setbacks, posing more insightful questions, exploring varied remedies, and extending compassion to yourself, you become progressively prepared to convert difficulties into levers for advancement. So the next time you confront a snag, take a moment to ask, in what ways can this make me more capable, more perceptive, or more compassionate? That simple query can illuminate the path from frustration to discovery, steering you toward a more empowered and rewarding journey. Thank you for watching. Join us on this journey. Don't forget to subscribe.